presentation. Please go ahead.
Sure, sir. Just a second. So, a very good evening to everyone, and my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Mahendra sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity and to be a part of this wonderful initiative, because there are a lot of initiatives that are being taken place, particularly in the tier one cities, for example, Delhi in particular. But I'm very happy and excited to see that such kind of uh, proceedings are taking place, particularly in the area of Jaipur. But as we know that this is technology and we all are interconnected and likewise. So now, starting with my okay. Now, before I start with the topic, I welcome Mr. RP Nanda, Minakshi, Manish ji, and Shrestha Roy as well. And I'd be really happy if we can make this interaction a little two-way instead of a one-way. Now, beginning up with my topic, I'll be speaking today on the expanding role of India's soft power in 21st century. Now, there are three keywords here. First is expanding role, second is India's soft power, and third is the 21st century. When we talk about the soft power, it's very important for us to understand how we distinguish between soft power from hard power, and where did this entire idea originated from. If we look into the scholarly perspective, the idea of soft power was popularized by a very famous scholar, Joseph Nye, who last month only passed away. And he was the one who came up with the idea of soft power. Now, what does soft power mean? If we have to define soft power, it basically means the ability to attract or persuade to change minds or behavior of country or interest of country through cultures, values, and positive global engagement instead of using hard power, which can be termed into economic sanctions, forced payments, or we can say military use. Gone are the days when we used to say that war is solution to win or lose a battle. Now we are living in a, we can say, in a multipolar world. Now we are no more in a bipolar or a unipolar world. So ideally, a realist would always say that in order to survive in a multipolar world, it is very essential that instinct of going for a war. You should sit together and communicate well. Now, why the idea of soft power, attracted me or gauged my attention is because it's a very, very interesting story. So we were at a Asian restaurant here in Jaipur only, and I did not know how to use chopsticks. And I think 4 5 years ago there was this culture of trying Korean cuisine, and there was this BTS drama, and then we have the entire K-pop culture which was coming from South Korea. So from there I got to know how we, Indians who were so used to eating with hands or spoons, are inclined towards knowing chopsticks, and we are very keen learning how to use it and to have our meals with it. So it was my journey with soft power began with such a simple incident. So I delved into what is soft power, how did it came up, and everything. Now when we see into evolution, सॉफ्ट पावर के बारे में आज बहुत बात हो रही है, बट इफ यू लुक इनटू इट्स एवोल्यूशन, इट इज नॉट द current term. India particularly is a country wherein we've had soft power since inception. I can even cite examples from Ramayana and Mahabharata from where we can take inspiration regarding soft power. If we look into Ramayana, I was in one of the conferences, and one of my professor only was delivering a paper on Indian diaspora and soft power. She highlighted how Mata Sita was one of the first example where we can trace the Indian diaspora was migrated into a foreign country, and how she affected the culture over there with her saffron colored sari and all other attributes. Coming forward, we have the idea of NAM, which is non-aligned movement. When you talk about NAM again postulates the idea of, we can say, non-align, not non-alignment, ahimsa basically, which was propagated by Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation. After NAM, we had Panchsheel. Panchsheel is again about, it talks about 5 principles of mutual coexistence. So these are the, we can say, the foundations on which today's India soft power is laid upon. So we did a bit of a historical perspective to it, and not forgetting Buddhism also plays a very important role. India, is considered to be a flag bearer when it comes to, spread of Buddhism via Ashoka in particular. During his dynasty, Buddhism as a religion, um, he sent travelers across the regions nearby to spread the ideas, culture, and values of Buddhism. Again, if we talk about the 21st century in particular, the first thing that comes into our mind is yoga. Very recently, on 21st of June itself, the entire nation celebrated Yoga Day. And yoga is now no more just in India. It is something, it is like how Bollywood is known entire worldwide. Similarly, yoga is also known entire worldwide and is being practiced. जितने की पिक्चर्स हमारे दिल्ली से वायरल हो रहे हैं, मल्टीपल पीपल डूइंग योगा एट सेम टाइम, सिमिलरली पिक्चर्स आर गेटिंग वायरल फ्रॉम आईफिल टावर ऑल्सो. So this is just another small example of how yoga is acting as a very strong medium of promoting India's soft power into the global domain. Apart from them, if we talk about cultural heritage in particular, if we look into UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites, I'm happy to share that India amounts 43 UNESCO Cultural Heritage Sites, out of which 35 are completely cultural, and 3 or 4 of them are natural, and one of them is mixed one. Apart from that, Khadi. Uh, I'd like to again give an example. We had G20, India hosted G20, and there's a very strong image from that entire ceremony, which is there very much fresh in my head. All the guests were taken to this Gandhiji's Smriti place in Delhi, and they were all gifted with khadi shawls. We felicitated them with khadi shawls. So that was a very subtle medium how we promoted khadi into onto the international platform. Apart from that, we have, if we look into the medical diplomacy, so now soft power again has a lot of domains. Soft power is not just Bollywood, khana, dance, music. It's not just anymore about that. It involves your medical diplomacy, your vaccine diplomacy, particularly if we talk about the entire vaccine metri. So what is it? It is basically India's aid. It was a humanitarian aid that India willingly provided to the countries globally in the pandemic time. It again projected India as in a very moral, in a very morally good condition into the globe, into the, we can say, into the international picture, if we have to say. And these actions, what does these actions give us? One, it gave us a lot of friends as in, we can say that we helped you, and there is a moral conscience which are there, when two countries are into any kind of international agreement or relations, be it trade relations, bilateral relations, anything. So it gives us a sense of hope. And the other one, that okay, when we were in difficulty, India helped us without expecting anything in return. Now, we can be very hopeful about the fact that we can be at the receiving end also, without the other country expecting anything in return from us. So that is another one example. Now, if we talk about Bollywood and entertainment diplomacy, so, under soft power today, I discussed about yoga. Okay, we discussed about vaccine diplomacy. We discussed about how historically, from the ideas of Mahatma Gandhi to Nam to Panchsheel to the idea of Buddhism, we are into this current contemporary era where soft power still has relevance and is having an expanding role, particularly because we are living in a nuclear world. All the countries are capable enough to inflict nuclear damages onto each other. But then comes, along with nuclear weapon, comes the term nuclear deterrence. It means it is a wise decision and better decision to stay away from it. Why? Because all of you have the ability to inflict harm. and but no one has the capability or the capacity to recover from that harm. That's why it's very wise that all the countries in the international domain come together, sit together, and try to figure out solutions which are attractive and non-coercive in nature. uh, Again, one more example. I'll be using many examples throughout my presentation. So when Rishi Sunak became the PM, there were this Diwali celebrations. You guys can refer to my slide. It's there under the heading Diaspora Diplomacy, India's Global Ambassadors. In that, I've put one image of Rishi Sunak lighting a lamp on Diwali in 10 Downing Street in London. I feel that is again an example of soft power. While the head of the state is celebrating Diwali, I'm sure the entire country, the entire city is looking onto what it is. And many of them must have Googled what is Diwali, why is it celebrated, where did it originated from. So this is diaspora again becomes a very essential element of spreading soft power. Or for that matter, Kamala Harris getting into the power as a vice president in the United States. Why Indians were so somehow in our heart we were happy about it. Okay, someone from Indian origin is taking place in the United States at such a big position. So here the entire point is that the diaspora is very much essential and crucial element of spreading soft power for any country. And India being being the populous most populous country in the world, I think we should take that as an advantage, because I don't think there's any part of the world where Indians don't reside. And we should make use of this opportunity and use our diaspora and spread our soft power. Now, coming to next slide, which talks about educational diplomacy and knowledge economy. Whenever we talk about educational diplomacy, one institution that comes into my mind, or one organization that comes into my mind, is ICCR, which is Indian Council for Cultural Relations. Now, what happens, what does ICCR does is that ICCR does, it provides scholarship to international students to facilitate their academic engagements, particularly into the higher educational institutions. And they come here, the ICCR sponsors them, and in that manner, they get to know the Indian culture. I was 2 days back only. I was in IIM Ahmedabad in one of my academic engagements, and there were a bunch of 60 ICCR sponsored students who were pursuing their PhD from. Most of them were from various parts of Africa, South Africa, and few were from Afghanistan, Iraq, and I was surprised to see that we were advised to wear formal, Indian formals in our closing ceremony. I was there in a faculty development program. So very candidly, we all observed that one of our fellow participant very candidly said कि to our African friends कि sir हमसे ज़्यादा formal Indian तो आपने पहन रखा है. All of them were so excited to drape saris and to wear their kurtas and to adorn them. So educational diplomacy also plays a very, very critical role in promoting India's soft power. Foreigners, foreign students, academicians coming here, wearing our culture, putting up our values and beliefs, doing namaste, lighting the lamp, reciting prayers. Now, अब वो बच्चे जो हैं जो PhD कर रहे हैं वो 2-2.5 साल से वहां रह रहे हैं अहमदाबाद में. And to my surprise, they were so flawless in understanding Hindi. They were not as flawless in speaking, but then their understanding of Hindi was absolutely flawless. So it again told that how much, culturally we need not to put any force that if you don't speak Hindi or understand Hindi, we'll put fine on you or something like that. No. Intrinsically, we developed interest into them to learn our language and our culture, which was very well portrayed during the entire ceremony. Apart from the education, diaspora, medicine, one more example, and a very prominent and strong example on which I've also written one article in a journal, is how Mahakumbh has, again emerged as a very strong example of India's soft power. Now, how? Because many of us might say that, it's attached to Hinduism or religion or something. No, I think it is something associated with spirituality, because when you look into the list of visitors, international celebrities that were there in the Mahakumbh, and that was just flawless. I think people traveling from continents to attend Mahakumbh, to take the holy bath, to take the dip in that Sangam, it itself highlights that we have that Indian culture has that, still has that ability to, attract and cater the service of the foreign tourist or the foreign, we can say, celebrities. Now, one more thing. As I started with sushi and chopsticks, so culinary diplomacy is another very important aspect. So there are embassies, Indian embassies across the world. They host a lot of food festivals. So in PPT, you should be able to see a picture which I've put from Embassy of India, Manila, from Philippines. Over there, it highlights how Indian Food Festival is being celebrated in the year 2019. So आप एक फेस्टिवल फेयर ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हो फिलीपींस के अंदर डेडिकेटेड टू इंडिया. Over there, for example, if you're putting samosas, you're putting dal bati churma, or khakra jalebi or dosa something, the natives of Philippines will be very excited to learn about it, to taste it. They'll come back home, they'll read about it, they'll research about it, and that's how their interest will develop. In India, we are seeing a spike interest into the Korean culture. Gone were the times when we were, highly obsessed with the McDonald's, or we can say the McDonaldization culture, which came from the Western world. But now, if we see the entire K-pop culture, K-pop drama, music, BTS, and there are a lot of series on OTT platforms. So South Korea, in that matter, I feel is, having a super edge when it comes to attracting people through its soft power. And India also has huge potential, but still we can do a lot better. Now coming to the now, in order to conclude my, the entire idea of the soft power, if we look into the challenges and opportunities, challenge में सबसे बड़ा challenge is कि soft power alone cannot do anything in the contemporary world. If we look to the realistic solution, it can only be attached with hard power. We cannot they're complementing to each other. They're not, we cannot say they can substitute each other. So hard power and soft power should be going together, which is also very famously known as the smart power. There are certain attributes of soft power, and there are certain attributes of hard power. One of the challenge in in representing soft power is it's very difficult to calculate it in numbers. हार्ड पावर में आप चलो मेजर कर लोगे कि आपका जीडीपी का कितना परसेंटेज गवर्नमेंट ने मिलिट्री में लगाया, और व्हाट आर द एक्सपेंसेस, और हाउ मेनी वॉर्स, आर्सेनल्स, मिलिट्री मैन, एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. बट आप सॉफ्ट पावर का कैसे आइडिया लगा पाओगे? वन ऑफ देम इज डेफिनेटली टू लुक इनटू द tourist engagement that the country is having, but that's only one share, we can say a 10% share of the soft power. Tourist visiting India is not the entire soft power that we are projecting. So it is very difficult to quantify soft power. We can say that's one of the challenge. But then again, if we look into the opportunity, soft power plays, like how we say na, AI is the, coming generation is of AI. I strongly believe that the coming times is all about soft power, how you project your soft power, because all the countries are having ability to use their nuclear weapons, and there's nothing beyond nuclear weapons, if we look, when it comes to using force. So how intelligently country would use soft power is the key. And I feel India has an edge with its population. When we talk about the Indian population, or we can say the overpopulation, we can take it as a boon also, as a bane also. But I believe if we take it as a positive, we should utilize the human resources that we have. If we utilize the human resources, there's no country in the globe that can, defeat India when it comes to soft power. Now, in order to conclude, I would simply say That soft power is timeless yet dynamic, and it is very much important to India's leadership into the global arena. Also, I got one more. I have one more story. So while I was traveling back again, from Ahmedabad only, so I had my co-passengers in train, and how Indian, how Indian traveling in Indian trains, I believe, is a social setting. We get to interact with so many minds. So there were two very curious children, I think around age 18, 19. So they were like कि दीदी आप इतना आप वो पूछे कि आप किस पे पीएचडी कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो. And I said I'm working on soft power, and I'm working on this, and I'm trying to figure out these things. So they are like, आपको लगता है क्या soft power कहाँ आ रही है? आप you look into Russia Ukraine war, and then you look into Palestine, Gaza, Israel, and India Pakistan tensions. इसको देखने के बाद भी आपको लगता है कि soft power is very important? To which I answered, I did took 10 minutes, I did took 5 minutes to think about and everything. And next morning, as soon as I wake up and they were also awake, I answered that, yesterday I could not answer, but now I have answer. Like even after the war has ended or even the war is on, the leaders are using the social media, okay, in order to make their appearances, and they are all willing to shake their hands on international platforms and to gain sympathies. I think this is again a part of soft power. We cannot say that soft power has eliminated, or we can say it is not a solution into the contemporary tensions or the nature of tension that we are witnessing. But definitely, again, the key lies that how strategically you're using your soft power, and there is no alternate solution to a good communication into the contemporary era. War is never a solution. That is what Mahabharat has also told us, कि युद्ध करने से कुछ नहीं होता है, युद्ध होता है तो चीजें समाप्त हो जाती है. The entire dynasties end. But if you can come to table, sit together without any coercion, but you know, using your own abilities to having a discourse, having a dialogue, that could be a permanent solution to various problems. So with this, I'd like to thank my presentation, and I'd be more than happy to answer any queries or questions or to address any comments if we have.
Thank you, Dr. Yukti. Very well presented, very comprehensive coverage of the subject, that is what you call soft power. Now I will ask the students if they have any questions, and after that I have few queries which I have received from the students that I will put later.
Sure,
Now
sir.
the student, please introduce yourself and put your questions in a simple and clear manner. Be quick.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Meenakshi Manish. I'm a law student. And I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned that soft power goes beyond Bollywood and food, which is true. My point is Indian culture in sense of we have yoga. They are very familiar with our foods like butter chicken, dosa, whatever. Um, they are recognized, but what are we actually reaping from it diplomatically? My point is, while our culture is visible globally, we still struggle with a weak passport, high visa rejection rates, and as compared to other countries, for example, Argentina or Brazil, we have less international funded scholarships. So, unlike how, once America had a soft power, like the jeans and wearing jeans and McDonald's was globally romanticized, our culture is there. It's present everywhere, but it's only there for a short period of time. So, if any American wants to do yoga, they do it in their, own gyms, and then they go to their Target and Walmart for a shopping, and then they go to Starbucks. They don't find it appealing. They don't find our lifestyle or our lives wanting to live in India as appealing, as opposed to Indians finding living outside appealing. So I was present in the Indian embassy in Hanoi, Vietnam, and they found our food, and they wanted to see what Diwali was, what Holi was, but that was a very short term wanting of doing something as opposed to me wanting to stay there for a very long time. So my
So
question
what's your question? What's your question?
is, yes, sir, I'm building up to that. have familiarity and aspirations, but what are we actually reaping? Because our passport and all those problems still exist. So where is our soft power reaping us?
Okay, ma'am, now comparing India's soft power with American soft power would not be a very good example because, we need to find a balance first of all between these two. That's exactly, how if we talk about the in Indian conditions, the idea of reservation came so that we all can come to an equal footing wherein then we can fight equally. So comparing India with America would not be a good example. How we can assess India's soft power is we look how drastically we have improved. I'll give a very small example from Mahakumbh itself. There were a lot of you can go to Ministry of External Affairs websites and you can retrieve data from there. There are a lot of startups and MOUs that have been signed between bilaterally between India and different countries, particularly during the tenure at the time Mahakumbh was there. So here my point is that yes, the idea of watching a Bollywood movie or enjoying butter chicken is not as long lasting as compared to other what the America or the Europe is doing. But then definitely we are progressing and we are making our progress into trade also through it.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, would you say that this interest in investments is more out of India having labor and mass population rather than foreigners wanting to come and shift into India? Would you say it is rather out of our ability for labor rather than them finding India appealing?
Okay, now there again 2 points. One, definitely we have instead of labor, I'd always use the term human resources. India is highly abundant with human resources, and we have comparatively we are readily available to cater services. But then again, if you visit to cities like, particularly in UP, in Vrindavan, you see a lot of foreigners which are residing there over years. So we cannot be saying that just because there's availability of cheap labor, that's why the international brands or companies are investing. But then there are beyond for example, I'd like to give up this. I'm not remembering this name. There's this very famous Radhe Radhe Bhajan thing that's happening, that's gaining the trend worldwide, with Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma visiting their concert in London. Now, these people from London are coming to India to put up their concert. So the thing is that things are changing over the period of time. We cannot expect a drastic change all of a sudden, but then definitely we can see a positive surge into this entire domain.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank you.
Next question.
Hello,
Come
ma'am.
on,
This
everybody.
is Shrestha. I am from International Relations Department, and my question is, as we see, digital diplomacy is rising a lot. So, how can India really balance its traditional soft power with the ongoing technology partnerships and other digital governance models?
I think AI and digital technology, or we can say the entire spectrum of digital diplomacy, is very much aligning with all the parts. If you go to Indian tourism ka website, okay, and if you log into the most favorite tourist spots or something, there we are using digital medium in order to promote our ancient Harappan sites, Mohenjo-daro, right? So that's how the two things are integrating. We are using our AI mechanisms, our technology mechanisms in order to promote our cultural and global heritage sites, for that example.
Come on. Any other question? Come on. Be quick. Don't detain our guests for long. Dr. Yukti, I think the students have understood what you already explained. I have one query.
Yes, sir.
That is, it is generally said that soft power expansion and all that, it has started from 2014. I mean, with the present political establishment coming into existence. Do you think not much was done before that?
No, sir, I would not say not much was done. Much was done. I think soft power comes from how I trace back to the era of Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata. but how technology has helped, and I also believe that there's this charismatic leadership or the change in leadership that India has observed, and how every government comes with its own objective, how every person has its own ideas and attitudes. Similarly, I believe that particularly post 2014, as we have noticed a change in leadership for the country, the how the way soft power has been publicized globally, that has created a drastic impact.
Yes, you are right to a certain extent. And on a personal note, I would like to say that the father of this soft power theory, Joseph
Yes.
Nye, he is no more.
Yes.
And can you believe at the age of 90, he was very active on television forums, newspaper conferences, international conferences. I mean, around the clock, he was busy at the age of 90. I mean, one is surprised. And
Yes.
he had no, and he had the courage to criticize the American president on national television, which I
Yes.
think very few academics have the liberty to do it, particularly not in India. So he had no time for any other thing except, I mean, speaking about the issues, not only American issues, but international issues. And
Exactly.
we were fortunate to have two email interviews from Joseph Nye, which we have published in our FPRC journal long back. And people were surprised. How could he find or get hold of Joseph Nye for an interview? All
Yeah.
right, this is just not a chance. He must have thought something. And very politely, I wrote to him once, Sir, how could you find time for us?
Yeah.
Because we were new into the field, into the arena of working in international relations and all that. Long back,
Yes.
2014 or something. So, he just wrote a one line email. He said, I gave time for email interview simply because you are working on correct lines. You are
Wow.
working for a good cause.
Yeah.
That's why I spared time. So that is a great consolation. That is a great encouragement to us that we are
Exactly.
working on correct lines, and whatever we are doing is useful to the scholars and all that. So thank
Definitely.
you, Dr. Yukti, very much for sparing time. I know you were busy with the ISSR, that course and all that, and you have,
No,
I
no, sir.
think, come
It's
back.
my absolute pleasure to be here, and I'm really grateful to you for providing me this opportunity.
So, I'm always, on the lookout for the talent. For last 25 years, it has been my endeavor that
Okay.
seniors had lot of forums, but the upcoming generation of research scholars, they don't find forums for expressing their views. Maybe as valuable as a 90-year-old Joseph Nye's views on any
Truly said.
subject. So
Truly
both
said.
have to be taken into consideration, and a balance has to be, maintained. That's why, I just focus on this, and I focus on the talent in Jaipur.
Right.
Almost all of them have been from Jaipur, except there were few more who were, I mean, not available this time. They may come later on from local universities,
Right.
and that's why I have to ask my old intern
Okay. And so
from Jindal University.
that is actually one of the point which attracted me, because here in Jaipur, I think we are lacking certain good think tanks, because there are a lot of bright intellectual minds that are budding in Jaipur. But then I have this question: why everyone has to go to Delhi to put forward their views and points? Why can't we have the same thing in Jaipur? And I'm really really happy, and I'm excited to see how the FPS and entire thing comes up in Jaipur.
Dr. Yukti, let me share one thing more. In the third week of July, I'm having a seminar
Okay.
on Operation Sindoor,
Oh, okay.
and I think I will talk to you about that later.
For sure,
Already, I
sir.
have planned everything about that. All the guest speakers have been finalized. That
Okay.
includes one ambassador, one lieutenant general, one major general,
Oh,
one professor emeritus, one university faculty of Rajasthan University, plus
okay.
two media persons have already given their consent. They are from Jaipur. Times of India special correspondent, he will also be there. GTV reporter will also be there. So
Oh, that's
it's going
wonderful,
to be
sir.
a wonderful occasion. It will be most probably in the third week of July. I am just finalizing the date and
Okay,
the
okay.
venue in order. So I will let you know.
For
And
sure, sir, for sure.
if you like to contribute to that, I will be very happy to that.
I'll
Okay.
I'll be more than happy to contribute, sir.
Okay. Okay. I will discuss with you later.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you very much. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you, everyone.
And with that, I will like to close that session. Okay.
Thank you, sir.